I'm really excited that you've taken action to start going after what you really want in life. Because really, if you think about it, most people never do this. Most people never take the time to figure out what they want and what their purpose is, their why and their what. And you're already ahead of about 90% of everybody on the planet. So you should feel pretty good about that. So before we get into the meat of this webinar, I want to let you know why you should care at all about anything I have to say, right? So here's just a quick bio on me. My name is Greg Knapp. I am an author, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker. I've got 20 years experience as a radio talk show host, including some as a nationally syndicated talk show host. I've got a master's degree in counseling psychology. That led to my experience in coaching and counseling. I've started 3 small businesses, and I focus on this idea of finding and pursuing a passion, a purpose, and how crucial that is in every part of our lives, from our work to our finances to our family to your spiritual development to your physical life, really every part of your life. If you don't have a passion, a purpose in it, you're not getting everything out of it that you possibly can. And so I've developed my passion and purpose over the years, and it's been this: to help as many people and organizations as possible find and pursue their passion and purpose so they can live out the extraordinary lives of their dreams and maybe even change the world a little bit. Now, you find out more about me, you can go to my website, gregorybknapp.com. You see it on the slide there. And you can check out my social media. It's up in the top right bar of that homepage. Follow me there, find out a lot more. And on my website, I have a blog where I write a couple times a week about passion and purpose, personal development and growth, success, leadership, encouragement. So I hope you'll check that out, and I hope that I can be another resource for you in your life. So there's more about me. That's a quick little bio on me. There's a lot more there at the webpage. And I also want to give you a quick overview of what's going to happen here in this webinar. Okay, because I hate it when I sign up for a free webinar and half of the webinar, the guy's trying to sell you something. I'm not going to do that to you because I hate it. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you about 30 minutes of free content that we talked about, the free webinar on how to overcome the obstacles holding you back from creating your best life. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to spend about 5 minutes, and that's it, 5 minutes, giving you choices on how to continue this journey and really get some forward momentum fast by working with me. And the choices are going to be a 40-day e-coaching course. I'll explain all about it. Personal coaching, it's one-to-one coaching, either at the value or premium level. And that includes, by the way, the 40-day e-coaching. And you're going to get bonuses with all 3 of these courses. Now, the links to those options are going to be at the top of my webpage at the end of this webinar. And at any time, you can then go check them out and buy them. Okay. And right now, they're at the bottom of the current blog post that's up there. And then at the end of this thing, I'm going to stick around and I'm going to answer any questions you have for as long as you have questions. And you'll be able to write the questions to me in the chat room and I'll answer all of them. Okay. All right. Then let's go. Here's the first question I have for you. Have you ever tried to change your life? Maybe change your entire life, maybe just change a little something in your life. And when you've done that, it hasn't always gone so well. Didn't work out quite the way that you thought it would. Have you ever had that happen? I think all of us would have to say yes. I know I do. But have you also had times where you were able to change something for the better? I think we can all answer yes to that. So there's a very interesting question that goes with that. And it's, what made the difference? Well, I think it's pretty basic. See, I think when it becomes more difficult to suffer than it is to change, then you change. Right? I mean, when it becomes more difficult to suffer than change, you change. So have you convinced yourself you must change? Let's get started on how to overcome these obstacles stopping you from creating your best life. Obstacle 1. You really don't know what you want. Come on, Greg. I know what I want. I want more money or a bigger house or better vacations or enough to retire. I want to lose weight. I want a better relationship with my spouse. I want to be a better parent. I want to be, well, I'm glad that you have dreams. How deep have you gone on what you want? I mean, when you say you want, let's say more money, how deep have you gone on that? Why do you want more money? Obviously, it's not to have paper with green stuff on it. No, why? To buy things? Why? What do those things represent? Joy, happiness, safety, security, maybe comfort. How about power, prestige? And why do you want those things? Is it to help you, to help your family, to help your friends, maybe to help charities, church, the world? How about will that money buy you freedom, time freedom, location freedom, vacation freedom? See, I think all those things can be great reasons to do something. What are they for you? You got to get deep into your why, not just the surface level, but deep to understand the emotional level under it and integrate that into your body and soul to really get down deep into lasting change. Otherwise, it's just for a couple days. We don't want that, right? You know, Mark Twain said, the two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. Have you figured out your why yet? Most people never do. Most people never put much effort into it. So the fact that you're here doing this is awesome. You're at the point where you want to change your life. But there's one thing that's interesting about it too, is that we're all different. I don't know you yet. You don't know me yet. But I do know some things about you because they're universal. And they're this: you want to make a difference and you want to count. You want to live a life of significance and meaning and value, don't you? I mean, you have a feeling deep inside you that you were made for something better. And this idea of just getting by, come on, man, that's not good enough. You want that extraordinary life you dreamed of as a kid. And you realize this is it, man. This is all the time you get. When a day's gone, it's gone forever. And you want to make sure you're using it wisely and not wasting it. This idea of why, your purpose, is in the what that you're passionate about. It's so important because when you discover it, a shift happens. Tremendous shift where you get clarity on what's most important to you and why. And then that motivates you and creates this energy, a whole new level of it, so you can reach success and performance levels that you've never had before in and out of the workplace. That's why it's so extremely important to find this stuff, to find your why, to find your what, your passionate purpose and what you really want. Because your why, if it's strong enough, will get you through the tough times that are going to come. Because every time you try to change, when you try to create your best life, tough times are going to come, right? We know this. Is your why strong enough? You know, my whys, and you can have more than one, I have multiple. My whys are these. I love helping people find and pursue their passion or purpose. I love seeing them change. I love seeing them get excited where they can get up every morning out of bed without an alarm clock, right? I love to see it change the lives of their families. And I love that I can do this, what I'm doing right now, from anywhere I want to live or travel to. From coaching to my blog, to writing my books, to webinars like these, to online courses like the one I'm going to tell you about at the end. I can do all this stuff on my computer or phone. So I can be anywhere I want to be. The only time I have to be somewhere special is for my speaking engagements. And I love going to new places and meeting new people. So really, in short, I love helping people. I love the time and location freedom. And I love the income that I can get from pursuing my passion or purpose. Those are my whys underlying this. And of course, what it means to what I can do with my family, what it means to what I can do in donating to church and charities and having time to do other things in the community. All of that is huge for me. So what about you? See, I think if you get 100% sure of your why and you get 100% sure of your what, your how is going to start to appear. But if you don't, you tend to get a little frustrated. And I've been there. And I've used the techniques that we're talking about today to totally change my life faster than I ever thought I could. I went from being a mental health counselor with no experience, education, or contacts at all in talk radio to becoming a nationally syndicated talk show host in just 9 years. Now, less than 1% of all talk show hosts ever become nationally syndicated. I didn't know if I could ever do it. But I was on 67 stations across the country. I did the show out of my house. I had a commute time of 5 seconds from the bedroom to the studio. I know because I timed it. I loved it. And I did it by getting clear on my what and my why. And then as my how started to appear, I immediately took action. And I kept taking consistent daily action until I reached my goal. And that's what anybody can do. And here's the thing. Everybody on this webinar right now is a success. I know you are. Everybody in this webinar has a great story of obstacles they've overcome, achievements that they've accomplished. But the question is still out there, right? Haunting you. Are you living the life you dreamed of as a kid? Are you pursuing your passionate purpose? Are you feeling a little bit like this every day? I mean, that's what I want to feel like. Now, I know you can't feel like this all the time or you'd explode, but are you feeling like this a little bit every day? Because if you're not, we need to get cracking. Let's begin to find your passionate purpose, your why, your what. Now, in my book, I call it my R&R time, remember and rediscover. And I say you should take a half day or a full day retreat by yourself and pull this out of you. See, your why and your what, your passionate purpose is not out there somewhere. You're not going to be able to just take some test and some guru is going to tell you what it is. It's inside you. And what we have to do is pull it out. And the way you pull it out is you start asking yourself questions and you start remembering and rediscovering. What were your most successful, most excited, happiest times? You know, the time where you're just feeling good, like everything was just rolling, where you lost all sense of what time it was, where you were in the zone or the flow, and people said, man, you're really good at that. Yeah. And it came easily to you. You said, what, this? Everybody can do this. And that's a key right there, too. Too often we overlook our gifts and the things we're really good at. We discount it because we say, well, I mean, anybody can do that, right? I mean, that's easy. No, everybody can't do that. You're really good at that. Everybody has something that they're so good at that other people think, wow, and you go, huh? Cue into that. That is a big clue for you. So what were these times? You do it for free. Was it at childhood, high school, college? Is it right now? Was it maybe an academic subject or a sport or some kind of performing art? Or you're great at fixing things and working with your hands? Or you love computers or mechanical things? Or you're great working with people, resolving conflicts and leading and managing? What was it for you? What were your happiest, most successful, most excited times? Start thinking about those and think about them more later tonight when this is all over and start writing them down because those are the things to turn to start finding what you're really all about. And then the other part of the R&R is the rediscover. What I mean by this is let's rediscover a dream you had. What did you used to want to do, be, or become? And you gave up on this dream, not because you didn't want it anymore, but because you were told that it wasn't realistic. Well, see, I don't care about reality right now. I want you to go to Fantasyland because fantasy is what's going to stir up your soul. Reality doesn't. Well, Greg, my fantasy was I wanted to be the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm 58 years old, and it's not going to happen. I understand that. I'm not saying you can have any fantasy that you come up with, but what I'm saying is if you get back to that fantasy land existence you had when you were 8, the things that really stirred your soul, it might stir something in you again. And it might not be that you can be the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, but there might be something in that dream that will turn into something you can do. That it's a different type of how, but it's something that ties into it that gets you just as excited. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stir up these great feelings you had. What did you want to be when you were a kid? What did your teachers and friends compliment you about? What dreams and ideas did you bury? What did you give up on that would make the 8-year-old version of yourself cry if it knew you gave up on it? That's what we're looking for. See, it's imperative you get clear on this stuff before you do anything else because it will help you overcome these obstacles. When you are so excited about your purpose and your passion, then you will push through these obstacles that we're talking about. See, the goal is to take your passion, take what you love, take what you're good at, turn it into something that serves others, become world class at that, become so great at it they can't ignore you. And then you've got something really special. That's what we're talking about. All right, obstacle number 2 that holds you back from creating the life you want, fear. I mean, we all have it, don't we? I've found this. Tell me if you think this is true. The biggest difference between truly successful people and people who fail is that the successful people keep going. They don't give up. I mean, to me, it's really been that simple. The biggest thing that leads us to giving up or maybe not even starting, is fear. I had a friend of mine come up just about 2 weeks ago, came up to me and he said, Greg, I've started reading your book and I'm getting excited about it. I mean, I'm really getting excited about finding and pursuing my passion and purpose, but I find out that I'm not really following through. And I don't know why. Well, we did a little mini coaching session right there on the spot, and I started asking him some questions. And he said, all right, Greg, I get it. I'm afraid. Now, I didn't say that to him. He pulled it out of himself from answering these questions. It was fear. The fear was stopping him. He had a good idea of his purpose. He had a good idea of what he wanted to do. But when he had a little extra time to work on it, he found himself surfing the internet and just watching TV. Why? He was afraid. See, every time you start to make a change, fear is going to creep in. You've got to expect it and plan for it so you can overcome it. Things like fear of failure, fear of losing all your money, fear of being laughed at, fear of not being able to provide for your family, fear of losing your spouse, fear of losing your home, fear of ending up eating, a steady diet of government cheese and living in a van down by the river, right? Oh, that's spiraled out of control very quickly. We're all the way to Saturday Night Live now. But it happens, doesn't it? We start this stuff in our heads and it spirals out of control. And then we get paralyzed by this fear. Well, here's what you do. These are the action steps that I think really help overcome this. You tell the irrational voices in your head to shut up. I mean, is it realistic that all those horrible things I just talked about are going to happen to you if you're simply just trying to find and pursue your passion or purpose? Really? No, of course not. Come on. But we tend to think up the very worst that could happen, and then we start to expect that the very worst is going to happen, and we worry. What is it in the Bible that says, all the worry in the world won't add a day to your life? I think it's Peter 5:7 that says, cast all your anxiety in him, for he cares about you. It doesn't help you to worry. It actually hurts you. What would happen if you imagine the very best that could happen and start to expect that? Now, look, I'm not saying don't think about the possible negative consequences. I'm not saying be Pollyannish here. Absolutely, you've got to plan this thing out, but you also don't want to let an irrational fear stop you. I think wasn't it Mark Twain that said, most of the worst things in my life never happened to me? I love that. I'm paraphrasing because I just thought of that. Sorry. The other thing is, realize you don't have to take a huge leap. You do not have to quit your job to do this. You do not have to drop everything that you're currently doing, leap into this new idea, and expect it to immediately replace your income and be your new life and be even better than you've ever been before. That's not realistic either. But you can start this process. You can start it in your spare time. Now, you're going to have to cut out some other things that currently take up your leisure time, of course, but you don't have to risk everything to be successful at this. Now, if you're still a little bit, intimidated, Greg, there's just so much. The other great thing I love is to break it down. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? We're going to chop this thing up. Create smaller goals to get there. And then action plans that support those smaller goals and get those planned out. What would it be next year? What will it be in the next 6 months? What will it be in the next month? What about in the next week? What about the next day? So you break it down so you can take action every day, consistent daily action, and then watch these small steps turn into something big. And that's a huge thing about this is you got to take action. Because when you do, fear falls quickly. Ask yourself this for a second. Ask yourself these questions. If you never take action, aren't you failing already? I love the people who say, Greg, I'm not sure, so I'm just not going to do anything right now. I'm not going to make a decision so I don't risk anything. Well, that's a risk. I'm not going to make a choice right now, Greg. Well, you just did. You chose not to choose. Not acting is a choice. Not deciding is a choice. There is a risk both ways. There is a risk if you do it, and there is a risk if you don't. So to act like you're playing it safe, that ain't necessarily so. If you never take action, you're failing already. If you learn from a failure or a rejection, you can take better action next time, better chance of success. I mean, and by the way, isn't taking action how you've achieved all your successes so far? And aren't all these objections that keep popping into your head really just a way that we hide from our fear? When you begin to take action, great things follow. You make some progress, you achieve small success, and then you start feeling pretty good about it. Get a little strength, get a little courage. And then you realize this stupid t-shirt slogan, go big or go home, it's just flat out wrong because that sends a lot of people home. No, start small, succeed, repeat, then go big. I love that. Here's another thing you can do. How about the idea of hanging around people who support you instead of people who always drag you down? Hang around the people who support your goals, people who want you to succeed, people who are on a similar journey. Ask one of them to be your accountability partner. Check in with them once a week. Tell them about your progress. I've got 2 accountability partners. I do a phone call with each of them once a week. It helps me big time. They said, Greg, did you do what you said you were going to do last week? What are you planning to do next week? They give me a kick in the butt when I need it sometimes. They hold a mirror up to me sometimes to see that I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. And then I try to do the same thing for them. It builds friendships, it keeps you going, and it gives you some accountability. I love it. Remember, you can do this. I had another friend recently remind me, little kick in the butt time. Greg, you're not taking action on everything you told me you were going to do. Yeah, I was afraid. I had so many things I wanted to do, so many things I wanted to launch. And I was waiting until everything was just right, which of course is when? Never. Right? He said, Greg, how did you get started in radio again? I took action. Yeah. How did you become nationally syndicated? I took action on it. Yeah. How did you write your book, start your blog, start speaking? I took action. I get it. I took action. Yeah. Everything wasn't even close to being right. I had a lot of fear, but when I took action, things started to come together. I met people who helped me. I learned things that helped me, and I gained momentum and confidence. So what have you been thinking about doing, but you've let fear stop you? It's time now to take that action. You're going to be surprised how fast fear falls when you do. All right, everybody hearing everything well, everybody being able to see everything. Let me know if there's a problem. It looks like everything's going well. Just want to make sure everybody's hanging in with me. Next one, obstacle 3, feeling overwhelmed. Have you felt this way? I mean, when you start thinking about your big ideas and your big plans and your big goals and you're so excited and you're just like, oh man, I got so much to do. How am I going to do it? So, hey, wait, I got to check my email. I mean, that's important. My daughter needs help with her homework. Man, that lawn's really tall out there. My desk is so disorganized. Time to update my LinkedIn profile. You right? Have we done this? I know I have. And what we're really doing is we're hiding and escaping from that feeling of being overwhelmed. And we try to get rid of it by acting like we're busy and doing a lot of stuff. But being busy doesn't mean you're getting stuff done, does it? So why do we procrastinate? We've talked about fear, but research shows that our minds tend to focus on all the difficulties and complexities of a project or task before we start it. And it tends to lead us to avoid even starting a big project. I had this happen with my youngest daughter a couple months ago, right before school ended when they were final time. She was having a big time pity party. And you know what? It's okay to have a pity party sometimes, right? I mean, sometimes life sucks and it's okay to have a little pity party, but 5, 10, 15 minutes tops, and then you better get back to it. So I said, all right, time to have your pity party. Let's get that over. And then it was because she was worried about homework, projects, studying for finals. I mean, she was crying. So after a pity party, we acknowledged, hey, this is a lot of work. There's no getting around this. I love what Tony Robbins says. You know, you can't go into your garden and say, there are no weeds, there are no weeds, there are no weeds, and expect the weeds to go away. You got to get serious. There are some weeds there, man. And we got to get down on our hands and knees and pull those weeds out by the roots because nobody else is going to do it for you. This isn't going to happen magically, right? So we acknowledge, yeah, you got a lot of work to do. But getting started is usually the hardest part. So we organized her work. Then we prioritized her work. Then we came up with a manageable plan over the 2 weeks she had left to do it. And then we said, how about this? How about you take your most important thing on this list and you start on it right now for just 15 minutes? Because, oh, it's going to take 3 hours. Just 15 minutes. So the whole idea is just get started. And it worked. She ended up working much longer on it than 15 minutes because she didn't realize she'd gone past 15 minutes. Then it dawned on her, hey, this wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. And then she saw how much she was getting done. We can do the same thing. If you're feeling overwhelmed with everything that you're going to have to learn and do to create the change you want, don't worry, you're not alone. Don't let it paralyze you. Here's what works for me. Here's your action steps. You first just list everything you want to do. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I did the 15 minutes. Sorry. I get a little excited. Sometimes I'm just talking to you and I forget that it's time to change a slide. But I'm excited about this, man. This is my ikigai. It's a Japanese phrase for purpose, why you get up in the morning and your reason for existence. I love it. So you list everything you want to do. And then you prioritize the list and you ask, what's the most important thing right now? And you do that one. And you do that one until it's done. Now, if that task is a huge, long task that you can't do in, an hour, 2 hours, or a day, I get it. Then break it down. Break it down into smaller chunks like we talked about. Do the most important chunk right now. And even if you can only do it for 15 minutes today, do it. Because those 15 minutes really start adding up. And when you finish that one right now most important thing, then you go on to the next most important thing and do that right then. And then you repeat it. Greg, this sounds way too simple, way too basic. I know it sounds that way, but it works because these are facts. Tell me if you can refute this. You can't do anything in the future, can you? You can't do anything in the past. The only place you can do anything is right now in the present. That's it. So do that. Here's another great one. I love this. You can use the Zeigarnik effect to your advantage. The Zeigarnik effect is simply this. It's the tendency that your brain has to remember projects, tasks, and goals that you have not completed. Yeah, the research shows your mind keeps coming back, drawing you back to uncompleted tasks. Have you ever had that? Where you're going about your day and you're like, oh man, I haven't finished that. Oh man, I got to get back and finish that. I do. And what's really cool about that is once you get started on a project you really want to do, your mind has a tendency to keep drawing you back to it until it's completed. Isn't that great? I mean, it's almost like someone designed us to get important things done. Wonder who. So remember, you don't have to know how to do everything to do something. You don't have to get everything done right now, but get something done right now. You don't have to have it all planned out before you begin. Take action. Here's what I always like to say. Look, even if the light is green, you'll never know it by sitting in your driveway. You got to take action and get to the light. I mean, when you drive to work in the morning, do you sit in your driveway and say, I'm not moving till every single light between here and work is green? Of course not. We drive to the first light. If it's green, we go through it. If it's not, we find a way to get around it. Normally, you just wait for it. That kind of hurts the analogy, but you understand what I'm trying to say. I also like how Martin Luther King Jr. says it. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. And then the staircase starts to appear. Right? Here's obstacle 4. You don't know how. Greg, there's so many things I want to do. I don't know how to do these things. It's way outside my wheelhouse. I get it. I mean, have you ever had a great idea, and as you start to plan it out, you realize all the things you don't know how to do? When I was starting out trying to do this stuff where I'm helping people find their passion or purpose, I had so many ideas about what I thought would be really cool. And I realized not only had I not done most of those things, I didn't even know how to do most of those things. I didn't know how to write a book or make a website, write an ebook, create videos, create online courses, create a social media presence, market everything online, set up an auto email responder, create an email list of everybody that wanted to stay in touch with me that I could send things to and tell them about stuff like this webinar. I didn't know how to get my WooCommerce product page to allow people to buy things, deliver it to them, and tie them into my auto email program. I'm hoping for some of you where I'm saying right now is starting to sound like Greek because it was all Greek to me, man. Several times I almost allowed it to overwhelm me. But here's what helped me. I went back to something I learned from Brian Tracy. Everything that successful people do, you can learn how to do. Everything successful people do was learned. Nobody was born knowing how to do the stuff they do to be successful. They learned it, and so can you. The fact is this. The vast majority of successful people are of average intelligence and average talent, and they learned how to do it. And they did it one step at a time. And that's what we can do. I was blogging about this a couple of weeks ago. When you ask yourself an important question about how to improve your life, never allow yourself to say, I don't know. This is the correct answer. I don't know yet, but I know how to find out, right? Think about all the things in your business and in your life that you didn't used to know how to do. Did you just say, well, I guess I'm not doing that? No, you learned how to do it. It's never been easier, by the way, to find out how to do something. Just type in how to whatever into Google or into YouTube, and some dude's made a stupid video showing you how to do it. It's incredible. Incredible information we have at our fingertips. From blogs, to books, to online courses, to videos, to podcasts, to ebooks, to webinars, and on and on and on. There is a way to find your answers. Somebody has done what you want to do or something similar to what you want to do, and they've gotten good at it, and they're willing to share with you. It's awesome. So here's some action steps. Start asking yourself empowering questions that are going to get you what you want, and write them down. And then ask yourself those questions every day. And when you get an answer that resonates with you, take action immediately, just like that. And use YouTube, Google, your friends, mentors, colleagues to help you begin to find out how to do what you don't yet know how to do, one at a time. Hey, find people who are already doing what you want to do. Offer to take them to lunch or coffee. Pick their brain. Learn from them what you need to know. And of course, see if there's anything you can do to repay them by helping them with something you know how to do. Some of the stuff that you know how to do, other people don't know how to do. You're going to be surprised how many people are willing to help you. But you have to ask. I don't know how many times my dad told me this before I got it. He said, you do not have because you do not ask. Absolutely. All right, obstacle 5. Greg, I do not have enough time. Man, I do not have enough time. I love what Zig Ziglar says about this. Lack of direction, not lack of time, is the problem, because we all have 24-hour days. Right? The most successful person in the world has the same amount of time as you do every day. So it really comes down to how are you spending it? Are you spending it on the essentials? What are you doing early in the morning? What are you doing late at night? What are your time sucks? TV, internet? What is it? A couple thousand years ago, Seneca said, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. And that still resonates today because we're trying to be everywhere and do everything. But to really do what we want, to really spend our time in the essentials, we've got to eliminate the distractions, delegate the less important time-killing tasks, automate as much as we can, and focus on our essentials. Now, I've got some details on this in my book and in a speech I give called Do Less and Achieve More, but that's an hour-long talk in itself. So I'm just going to hit the highlights for you. The first thing is every night, plan out the next day. If you don't set your priorities, somebody else is going to set them for you. And I know you've heard this a million times, plan out your next day the night before, but let me ask you something. Quick question. Do you do it every night? I don't. I catch myself skipping it. And I know how much it helps. On the nights that I plan out my day, the next day is awesome. And then I'm like, oh, I'm kind of tired. I'm going to watch this latest episode of whatever. And then I didn't do it. And the next day I'm scrambling and I'm behind the 8 ball. And I feel like I'm chasing my tail the whole day. So it is basic. So we need to do it. Here's another one. Start your day on the most important thing. Block out at least 2 hours to spend on that most important thing. And that, of course, means you do not start your day like this. Email cannot be open to start your day. It's going to lead you to let everybody else run your day and distract you from your essentials. I've set up an auto response and a signature on my email to try to calm this down. Here's what mine says. In order to be as effective and efficient as possible, I only answer my email twice a day. After 11:30 a.m. and 4:45 p.m. If there's an emergency, you may call me. And guess what? Most of the time I don't get a call. And I check my email and everything's fine. The world didn't end because I didn't have my email box open the entire day answering it the second somebody emails me. Look, I know everybody's different, right? And I know different people have different situations. And I'm sure some of you right now are going, Greg, I can't do that. My work says I have to be answering email, right? I bet if you talk to your boss and say, can I pick 4 times a day I check my email, or 3 times a day I check my email, or 2 times a day I check my email? Or if you run the company, maybe you start that at your business, because we are constantly interrupting ourselves, disturbing the flow of work. You cannot do your best work being constantly interrupted. The successful man is the average man focused. Lack of focus prevents you from doing your most important work and your most important thing. And it leaves you drained and feeling horrible. Focus on what's most important. That leads to a great feeling at the end of the day. That leads to great accomplishments. You ever had that day where you feel like, hey man, I didn't just work today, I created art today. And I'm not an artist, but my work was so good today. Dude, I'm putting that in the Smithsonian. Those kind of days when you pursue your passionate purpose and you went deep and you did some serious work, right? Here's another way to help this out. For your time, batch similar activities. Some people call it batching, clustering, grouping. It's where you take all these time sucks, email, social media, voicemail, phone calls, filing, if you have to do that kind of stuff, and you schedule a time once or twice a day, and you do them all at the same time so that you don't let this stuff constantly interrupt you. And by the way, here's another thing. Figure out what your time wasters are so you can try and eliminate some of them. I mean, how much time do you spend every week watching TV or surfing the web or on social media or Pokemon, anyone? Or on a hobby or playing other games? Look, leisure time's cool, but I think that should be planned too, because otherwise you're wasting time. How do you find that out? This is what I did. For 1 week, write down how you spend every minute of every day. I'm serious. Every hour, every minute, you write it down just for 1 week, because you're going to be shocked where you spend your time. Before work, during work, after work. You're going to be shocked. And then you're going to be able to say, whoa, I didn't know I was spending 5 hours every week doing that. I can cut that back to 1 hour a week, and I've just freed up 4 hours a week. Pretty cool, isn't it? Listen, if you want to have time to work on changing your life, then you'll have to change the way you currently spend your time. What are you willing to give up to get what you really want? And you want more time? I'm going to give you a gift. You ready? Here's my gift to you. An extra hour a day. Here it is. Wake up an hour early. Wait, what? Listen, Greg, I don't get enough sleep as it is, man. When did you start smoking meth? I'm busy. Listen, I understand, and you're right. Except about that part about me smoking meth. I would kind of like to keep my teeth and not look like someone raised by wolves on the Appalachian Trail, okay? But sleep is important, okay? I get that. But instead of popping on the TV or surfing the web late at night, how about getting to bed earlier so you're rested enough to get up earlier? How about stop doing some of the time-wasting things you do at night so you can get to bed on time? And here's why. Because in the morning, things are different. You get up before anybody else in the house does, and it's quiet, and nobody's bothering you, and no one's calling or emailing you, and no one's demanding you do something for them right now. You can get your coffee or your tea, you can pray or meditate, you can get prepared for the day. And then you get an hour on yourself, an hour on your new passion and purpose. And by the way, make sure you don't spend that hour working on something else for somebody else. No. This is your hour. This is all about you. This is your hour. You're going to feel awesome when you do it. Maybe not the waking up part, but the doing stuff for you part. It all comes down to mindset. You're going to have these voices in your head. One side's going to be telling you how great this is and things are going to be awesome and you're going to create this great life. And the other side's going to be saying, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? Why do you think you deserve this? Who would buy that from you? Who would listen to you? Who would learn from you? No man can serve two masters. You've got to convince yourself that you must change, that you can do it, and you've got to silence those voices that are trying to sabotage you. And you got to believe that everything in your life has brought you here right now for this purpose, to make today the day you begin this quest. Right now. That's what your mindset has to be. Right now. So now what? Well, I have several different levels for you to work with me to get the results you want faster. You can start with just buying my book all the way up to having 2 one-to-one coaching sessions with me each month. See, I want to help you no matter what your budget is. So it starts with something as easy as buying my book and reading it. And that's up at gregorybknapp.com. Little link to book right at the top. You can buy it at amazon.com. And you can also get the audio version of my book right off my website, gregorybknapp.com. Click on the book, and I'm reading it to you. I mean, it can't get easier than that, all right? But the better way to get my book for free is with my new coaching course. I've got a new 40-day e-coaching course with me, and this is what you get. You get a daily coaching email with a main idea and story and humor with it, questions to really get to what you want, and then action steps to take so you can start moving. See, I don't want to just get you excited and motivated. I want to get you excited and motivated, and then you actually know what to do next, right? Start taking these action steps to get where you want to go. You'll get direct email access to me when you have additional questions. And you'll get one coaching video each week. Now, there's some bonus material with this. You get the book for free. You get a bonus e-version of my book or audio version of my book, Go. And there's one other bonus ebook that's full of exercises and questions to help you find your passion and purpose. Now, that is all for just, are you ready? I love it when they do this, right? $97. $97, that's it. I put a lot of work into this. $97 is awesome. If you want to go even better, even faster, how about getting all of that plus coaching with me? That's what my 3-month course, of value personal coaching really is. Now, at this level, you get personal coaching sessions with me, one session of 1 hour each per month for 3 months. You get direct email access to me when you have additional questions, and you get everything else I just talked about. You get the 40-day online e-coaching course, and you get the coaching video each week, and you get all the bonus material in my books. Now, for all of that, for 3 months, remember, $597. That's it. That is a great bargain when you think about the coaching and the course materials and the books that I'm giving you. So if you want to get going fast, that's the way to do it. Now, how about this? How about 2 coaching sessions a month with me? That's what I call my premium level. At the premium level, this is your last choice right now. You get 2 sessions a month with me for an hour each. And you get phone access to me in between those sessions with additional questions when you got something you just got to get from me. You continue to get the direct email access to me. You get the 40-day coaching course, and you get all the bonus material. So all of that, 2 sessions a month for 3 months, and all of that for how much? $897. 3 months of premium coaching and bonuses for just $897. I want everybody to get in at every budget level they possibly can. I don't want to leave anybody behind, but I want people to be able to get this as fast as they possibly can if they want it that fast. Now remember, my passionate purpose is helping you. GregoryBKnapp.com is where you get this. GregoryBKnapp.com, okay? And my passionate purpose is to help you and as many other people as I possibly can find and pursue their passionate purpose and start working on it now. I want you to start working on the life you dreamed of as a kid. Why wait? See, I really get excited when I can help you do that. So are you ready to change your life now? Are you ready to do it faster? Then which one of these programs is right for you? Right now, just go to the webpage, GregoryBKnapp.com, GregoryBKnapp.com, and it's all right there. You click on the coaching. You click on the speaking, you click on the book, whatever it is that you're looking for right now. Pick the one you want and let's go. Hey, I want to thank you very much for being with me. And I hope you found this valuable. And I hope you can pass it on to somebody else. Take this link and pass it on. I want as many people as possible to see this and get the help that is in it. Share it with anyone you like. If this sounds good to you, please don't wait. I don't want you to wait and miss out. You put something off now and you keep putting it off, and then you're right back where you started. Imagine being exactly where you are a year from now and nothing's changed. Imagine being exactly where you are right now 5 years from now and nothing's changed. Imagine being right where you are right now 20 years from now and nothing's changed. Look, the time is going to go by anyway. Are you going to be a year, 5, 10, 20 years further down the road to your perfect life? Greg, there are no perfect lives. Okay, good. To the life you dreamed of at least? Or are you going to be exactly where you are right now? Don't wait and miss out. Why not you? And why not now? Let's go. Thanks so much.